Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Juggernaut, and today we're just gonna sit down and chat for a little bit because I've taken a break from YouTube. It's been almost 2 weeks, I think, since my last upload, and not because I'm lazy or because I didn't feel like recording. I've had some problems, in fact, quite a number of them, and I want to let you know about those things. I think it's fair that I do. I want to update you on that, on the future of the channel, how the uploads are going to go, and when we're going to be back to normal, shall we say? And yeah, let's get into it. So, first and foremost, there are two main reasons why I haven't been uploading and why I haven't been able to render anything or record anything. One is being my personal health, which has taken a bit of a hit, and the other being some technical issues, namely with my graphics card, and then, well, had to change that, and that opened some other problems along the way that I didn't see coming, but, they were there. Anyways, let's get into it. I want to get the personal health stuff out of the way first, even though it's not the most important thing for the channel, although I'm not around to record anything, then I guess in that sense it is, but you know what I mean. So yeah, effectively I hurt my spine, I think. It's really difficult to figure out what's exactly wrong with me, because I had an MRI, I went to several doctors, and nothing really seemed to help. Or rather, I got some treatment for my problems, but nothing concrete and nothing to tell me, this is what's wrong with you. More along the lines of, it could be this, it could be that, you sort of figure it out on your own. Which is not great. I still have a few things I can do, but it's nothing serious. I mean, that's what I know at the very least, so there's good news in that, I suppose. First, one of my doctors suspected it might be like a degenerative nerve disease, which is obviously uncurable, and that would really suck, right? On the levels of suck, it wouldn't be like 10 out of 10, but it would be pretty up there if I'm gonna be brutally honest with you. Fortunately, it isn't. I had an MRI, which is God knows how expensive that is, especially around here. But yeah, like I've had different testing done, and it turns out I'm fine. It's not uncurable. It's all right. And well, really? Knock you out? That's it? Oh. I apologize. I was quite confused by the fact that one of the cultists can be killed simply by punching them in the face. I really, really, really didn't expect that. But here we are. At any rate. Let's... Oh, it's like spotted. Right, let's get out of here. In the background, by the way, is Assassin's Creed Odyssey. No particular reason, just felt like something, and it's a good game to run around and explore in. So, at any rate. It's nothing serious, it's probably just a pinched nerve, although I'm told the symptoms for pinched nerves are usually a little bit different. Or what are your symptoms? So debilitating. About every 30 or 40 seconds, yes, that often, I feel like there's electricity running through my spine, and my right arm, and my right thigh. And my fingers and my hand go a little bit numb, and so does my leg. Every 30 or 40 seconds or so, and it feels like a sort of pulsing sensation, and I get some muscle spasms in the aforementioned areas. Yeah. You can see why I'm not exactly thrilled about the situation and how debilitating that could be. It's mostly mentally exhausting, if I'm going to be honest with you. It's actually really, really mentally exhausting. It makes it difficult to focus on anything. It takes away so much of your attention, and it's one of the most unpleasant feelings I've ever experienced in my life. And the first time that it happened, I was utterly terrified. Now it's been about 4 weeks of this on and off. It stopped for a time and then it came back. Now I'm sort of used to it, and as you can see, I'm able to speak while it's happening. And yeah, I still get it every 30 or 40 seconds or so. Obviously, I'm taking some medication to relax my nerves and stuff, so things are a lot better now than they were at the beginning. And the muscle spasms have stopped. Now it's just that god-awful feeling of being electrocuted. But at least I'm in control of my extremities again, which is important, I would say, for really not just for YouTube, but for anything in life. Yeah. At any rate, that was not pleasant, and I had to go to a bunch of doctors, and it took a bunch of time, and sort of a little bit more problematic, I suppose, is that it took a lot of time from my work as well. I wasn't right, I wasn't able to do anything for university, and yeah, I have flexible hours, and certainly that helps, but at the same time it means that I'm just pushing my obligations further and further down the month, and they accumulate all of a sudden, and now it's, not a problem today, but it will be a problem tomorrow sort of thing. And yeah, it caught up to me, and so this month, in the beginning or maybe the first week of the next month, I expect to be extraordinarily busy with university work. Although, that really matters. The most important thing is, I guess, making sure that I'm doing all right. To me, I'm not exactly obsessed with my work, but yeah, at the same time, I do have certain things that I do need to finish, and if I don't, I'm, without a job, and that's obviously not the case. But at any rate, that's what I've been up to on the health front. Trying to sort it out. Still don't know entirely what's wrong with me, but at least I'm sort of on the road to recovery, I would say, because I do feel substantially better, I would say, than I did previously. And that's about it. So, other than that, I then had some GPU problems. So, a while ago, I made a video of a love letter to AMD's support, who have helped me with my GPU-related issues to an extent. The only problem is the GPU-related issues returned. They didn't really solve them, they just made them a little bit more bearable, which is, I suppose it's better than nothing, but ideal. And so my GPU issues, much like my unknown spine problem, are also a little bit of an unknown. Highly coincidental, I assure you, but yeah. So my graphics card tends to sort of just shut down, no apparent reason. It hard crashes, I get a black screen, and I have to physically restart my computer, hard restart it to get it back. Work again. Yeah. The problem is, it doesn't happen very often, so it's not something. That's why I don't really record videos. Give me a second. Go. Stop for a few minutes. Let me finish my thought. Thank you very much. I've developed a love-hate relationship with my own nerves. It's a bit complicated, I would say. I mean, humor's the way through it, right? Like, through anything in life, really. If you can't joke about it, then... Anywho, as I was saying, I have this issue where it would just shut down randomly, and it would shut down in the most random games. For example, Oblivion was almost unplayable. Every hour, every half an hour, every 1.5 hours or so, I would get a crash. And recovering from that crash was kinda not easy. And so, okay, well, what about other games? Oblivion's a pretty demanding game. War Tales. Yeah, the one I've been recording for YouTube. That also crashes. Not that often, but about every 1.5 hours or so. And then I play Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and it doesn't crash. So obviously there's nothing to do with the percentage of the GPU I'm using or how demanding or taxing the game is. It's something else. And so I did a bunch of stress tests on the GPU and nothing helped, and I tried everything. Both me and the AMD support team, we tried literally everything known to mankind to determine what the problem is and try and solve it, and it didn't work. We couldn't find anything. Conclusion was it's a defective card. Something's wrong with it. We have no idea what, but something is most definitely wrong with it. And so what I decided to do was, you know what, I'm just gonna... I'm just gonna replace it, and I'm gonna try and sell this one, I guess. Problem is, I'm selling a defective card. Not a lot of people are going to want to buy it, and I am not in the business of selling it like a working card. I don't want to screw anyone over. I apologize for the harsh language, but that's what I'm doing. I know some people in my position would sell it as a perfectly functional card, especially because it doesn't crash very often, and it crashes only in certain games and only in certain scenarios. Like I said, I've played through most, or pretty much the entirety of Cyberpunk without any problems. Very graphically demanding game. No problems. Played through Assassin's Creed Odyssey up until this point, which is about, like, what, 11, 12 hours into the game, maybe more? No problem. I've played Warno, I've played Total War games, no crashes whatsoever. I've played through the entirety of Dishonored 1. No problem whatsoever. Yeah. So, clearly, I could sell the card to someone and just claim, oh, well, really, I have no idea what you're talking about. I have no idea what any of this is. I've had no crashes and, you know, just deal with it. It's a used card. What can you do? I don't want to do that, though. I really don't. I don't think that's a... Well, I just don't think it's right. It's fairly obvious why. I don't even pretend to be an extremely moral person when I say I don't want to screw anyone over. And I'm not going to do that. So I ended up giving this card to one of my cousins, and we'll see what he makes of it. I mean, for the types of games that he plays and stuff, and for his PC, it should work fine. I mean, I've seen the types of games he plays, and I reckon he's not going to have any crashes ever, probably. Or he might have one every 6 months or so. Given the fact that he has a pretty old PC, I think this will be a reasonable trade-off for him. So I'm going to gift that card away from him. Gift that card away to him. Fine, I'm going to buy myself a 9070 XT, the newest thing, right? The hot stuff. Performance-wise, it should be close to the 7900 XT that I had. Maybe about 10% better or so, depending on the games. Sounds good, right? That's what I did. Bought the card, you know, sacrificed an entire month's paycheck, bills and food and stuff like that, for a GPU. The GPU arrives a couple of days late. Fine, here it is. Let's go. Let's put it into the computer, swap the old one out, and we're just good. Wait, so I have drivers and everything. I'm ready. Here we go. And it doesn't fit. It won't fit in my CPU. It won't fit in my case. Like, at all. No way. Well, technically, the card itself fits in the case, because it's a pretty normal-sized case, right? It will accommodate most modern GPUs. You know, they're bigger and bigger by the day. No, the problem is, I have a very specific liquid cooling system, and you can find my PC specs in the channel description, not the video description, the channel description. Find it there, and the Arctic 2 that I have, the radiator for it is extremely thick. One of the thickest radiators out there as far as all-in-one cooling systems are concerned. Which is a big problem, because the radiator is now pushing against the graphics card, and the two won't work together. Previous card that I had was a little bit shorter, and so they work together, you know, one next to the other. But in the case that I had, the two are pushing next to each other. Don't you mount the radiator on the top of the case and then the GPU goes down? It won't fit at the top of the case. Because it's too thick, it's then pushing the motherboard, right? It's a monstrosity is what it is. And so what I end up needing to get is a new case for the PC. Otherwise, yes, I know there is an option to just not have a case, just to have the motherboard on like a piece of, you know, whatever, a cardboard or something, and just have it, you know, work like that. Except, how exactly do you expect me to turn on PC? Yeah, old motherboards used to have a button on them. Whole ass button on them. You press the button and a jolt of electricity would go through the motherboard and it would turn the system on. Newer motherboards have that. You can still do it. You can basically short circuit your motherboard and get it to turn on. And it's fine if you want to do some testing. It's not fine if I want to do it for a few months or a few years. Yeah. I need a CP. I need a case. Badly. And so that's exactly what I did. I spent a good chunk of my time and a good chunk of my money, which I already didn't have because I just upgraded my graphics card, into finding a case. And lo and behold, as it turns out, get a really good PC case, you're going to need to spend a bit of money. And in fact, you're going to need to spend a good chunk of money. So I did. No other option. You know what's also a big problem? Is when you have a very specific and niche setup with a very thick radiator for an all-in-one cooler, you don't exactly know if it's going to work unless you get out a ruler and measure it. The problem is, you can't really do that if the store doesn't have the case that you want there, right? And most stores, especially in my country, don't really keep PC cases, or at least empty PC cases, around anymore. You keep them in storage, but you can't actually access them as a consumer. You can't physically see them and touch them. You can just buy them and then hope that it works. Yeah, I'm not about to buy a whole case just to realize it doesn't fit all my components and then try and, you know, try my luck with another one. That's a bit much. Even for me, that's a bit much. And so, what I ended up doing is I just went, you know what, got it, we'll go for a slightly more expensive option, but we'll go for something that I know will work. And that's what I did. And lo and behold, we have Lian Li 011 or 11, I guess, or 011, or however you would, the hell you're supposed to pronounce it, Dynamic Evo. And it's the best PC case I've seen in my life. Many of them. I've seen very, very many of them. This is the best one. The way it's been designed, you can tell that someone that really knows a lot about building PCs, but, you know, took a pen and paper and designed this thing. Everything is easily accessible. Everything is neat, organized, positioned in very smart ways. Case is not huge. It's wide and not, you know, overly tall, but it will fit virtually any configuration I can think of. Everything fits inside it, no matter the case, no matter the size of your fans, the radiator, the all-in-one cooler, the regular, you know, air cooler, your GPU, anything. Any personal computer that's somewhat reasonable will fit in this. There's a ton of space. And, to boast, it's pretty bloody gorgeous, right? It's a simplistic, minimalistic design. At the end of the day, it's just a box, but pretty. On the inside as well. Pretty. I will say the edges of the metal, or the aluminum edges around, are a little bit sharper in some areas than they need to be, I think. For example, the places where you put the fans are done superbly. The top, the bottom, and the side, the edges are great. And then you go around the back to where the PSU is and stuff, and there's some sharp edges there that I don't really love, and I put a finger on one of them, but yeah, it's alright, though. That's the one nitpick I have. Other than that, though, spacing, little accessories, positioning of everything, cable management. I mean, just about everything in this case is, and I absolutely love it. And it's not even the most expensive thing on the planet. I mean, I know PC cases that go for like $500, $600. This is nowhere near that. Mine was, I think, around 150 or so. That's what I paid for it. Bearing in mind, you could probably get a better deal if you're in West Europe or in the US or something like that. You can probably get it for cheaper, or at least roughly around the same.
Okay, that's all I need to know.
And so there you go.
Later.
That's what I ended up getting. But of course, it took 7 days to arrive, and, it took 7 work days to arrive, even worse. And so, yeah, I just ended up using my old GPU until it did, but, just to arrive. And then it finally did, and then I assembled everything, and that's it. There were no more problems. Part of me, honestly, genuinely expected a problem. I really did. Part of me thought that, you know, I'm now going to plug this in and the PSU is going to explode or something. Because that's sort of the luck I've been having recently, both with my personal health and with my PCs, right? But no. Everything's fine, it works, and I've been rendering videos yesterday. I tried testing out the GPU a little bit. Worked fine. And all that remains is for me to, you know, be in a state where I can record videos. Be in a state where I don't need to pause every few seconds in my speech or in the video and try and edit that out, you know. Be in a state where I can focus on what I'm doing. Videos like this, where I just talk about what's been happening in my life, are not that difficult to make, I'm going to be honest with you. But something more complicated, like a Let's Play, and could be a bit more of a problem, I'd say.
That's enough pearls.
Yeah. I'm hoping, though, that in the next few days, my spine will go back to normal, and I'll be able to just at least sit and talk. Nothing else. I don't intend on lifting anything heavy or running any marathons anytime soon, but I'm hoping for the sensation to go away and the spasms and the vibrations that I kind of feel in my neck and stuff go away, so that I'll be able to at least sit down and talk and, one, work for my university and do the stuff that I need to actually do, because there's a lot of it. I do mean a lot of it that I've had delay because of this. But yeah, that's about it. It's a 20-minute video describing my problems, but I hope that at least you find it somewhat entertaining, and if not, him in the background is at least pretty interesting and pretty looking. And that's about it, ladies and gentlemen. That's what's been going on, and that's why for the last 2 weeks I haven't uploaded anything. Couldn't render videos, because, yeah, the GPU got to the point where as soon as I tried rendering something, it would just crash. It got a bit worse over time. Specifically, I tried to render a video about, what was it? Was it War Tales that I tried? It was either War Tales or the other game I was playing, Warhammer Total War. One of the two, and I tried rendering it, and render. Yeah, it is what it is. Unfortunately, had to take a bit of a break, but I'm ready to return with at least somewhat regular uploads. I'm going to probably miss out on a few days when I'm extra busy with university work, but I believe that in a few days I'm going to be, health-wise, I'm going to be fine again, and I'm going to be able to provide you with more content. Of course, on how my doctor's appointments go and stuff, but now that I know that it's nothing serious, like nothing debilitating, I mean, to be fair, it is pretty debilitating, but nothing serious in the sense of, like, disease or, neurological disorder or something. It's just either a pinched nerve, and technically stress could cause it as well, although feel like it, but you know what I mean. Like, it's something that will inevitably heal. Yeah, I feel a lot better about myself, and I'm, yeah, looking forward to having this GTFO out of my life so I can resume doing the things that I love and resume with my work as well. About it. Thank you very much for watching. Oh, actually, no, I do have one more piece of news. It was my birthday about a month ago, and I got a gift for my birthday. Yes, I did. And it was bloody awesome. It was truly, truly amazing. It was one of those things that I would never buy for myself, because it's expensive and I don't think I really need it. But when someone buys it for you, you're secretly like, oh, I really want this. This is really cool. And the gift that I got was a new mouse. In fact, it is the Logitech Pro X Superlight 2. Oh, yes, the really good stuff, right? I've been thinking about making like a review of it or sharing my first impressions or whatever. I realized it doesn't make much of it doesn't make much sense. There's about 1 billion reviews out there with actual real data on the mouse that you can check out. But I can tell you how it feels in like, you know, the last 2 minutes of this video. Great. I was thinking about it and the Zoe, either the EC2CW or any of the similar varieties, right? They're all basically the same mouse, just the shape is slightly different. I was thinking about, you know, one of those things, or maybe the Razer mice. Thing is, though, I've had a horrible experience with Razer's mice in the past because they all died on me after about a year or 2 years. Either they started to double click, or the scroll wheel stopped working, or, you know, one of those things. And it was mighty annoying, let's just say. And so I didn't want to go, you know, that route again, because 2 of Razer's mice died on me in like less than 2 years, each of them. Terrible. Or they would die right around the warranty's expiration date. Super annoying. On the other hand, all the Logitech mice I ever had were incredibly durable, and that's the main thing. Performance-wise, though, this thing is a beast. I'll give you just one number. I did the human benchmark test, which is where you click on the screen, you wait for the screen to turn green, and then you click again, and it measures your reaction time. You need to do it as quickly as possible. With the old mouse that I had, which was the Logitech G402, my reaction time was about 220 milliseconds. Which is not terrible. It's not great. I think it's around the medium reaction time, or maybe a little bit better or a little bit worse, doesn't matter. You ready for my reaction time with the new mouse? 120 to 140. Let's say around 140. That's what I can get reliably, although I did get it lower as well. Whereas with the old one, I couldn't go below 2. That's massive. And it's not just because of the technology, right? It's not just because it has a high pooling rate or whatever. It's not that. It's not that big of a difference. The old mouse was pretty good. It's the way it fits in your hand. It's the feel. It's everything. You know, it's all of those things. They matter a lot. And oh boy, do they matter a lot, right? And so yeah, that was eye-opening. At the same time, it's so light. I mean, it's in the name. It fits my hand pretty well. It's generally a universal design. I don't think it's not going to fit anyone. The most ergonomical thing ever, but it's fine. I get used to them. I realize that I don't really have that big of a preference when it comes to the shape of a mouse. I get used to them pretty quickly.
Shiny stones. I should return to the little girl.
And yeah, it's... I mean, is it worth it? Not really. You just, like, praised it for, like, 5 minutes, and now you're telling me it's not worth it. Are you well? Well, literally, no. But what I mean is, it's a bit too my liking. And I think the Zoe mice are too expensive as well. Granted, if you are into esports, and you want to do competitive, you know, Counter-Strike, or Valorant, or whatever, then, yeah, you're going to need a really, really good mouse. Even if you want to play those games, you know, pretty seriously to some level, not in the sense of competition, but just, you know, really want to devote a lot of time into those, sink a lot of time into those games and get better at them, then yeah, sure. On the other hand, though, if you're more, I guess, more into strategy games or general purpose gaming, RPGs, stuff like that, it's definitely... there are cheaper alternatives, though. There is a Superlight or a Speedlight or something, which is a very similar mouse. It's a little bit heavier, has a lower pooling rate, So it's a little bit slower and stuff, but it feels pretty similar. And it's like about 30-40% cheaper, maybe. Again, check your local prices. Prices here aren't exactly the most representative in the world. However, it's significantly cheaper. That one I would recommend. Razer, on the other hand, well, most of their stuff is pretty expensive, but you have something like the Death Adder Essential, I think. That one was that was pretty good, and a little bit cheaper than some of their top tier stuff. However, this is my first wireless mouse, and that's the biggest upgrade that I wanted to make. It's not necessarily just about the mouse itself, about it being wireless. The 402 that I had was wired, and I knew that if I get a wireless mouse, I, for the life of me, could not stand it being worse than the wired mouse that I had. Either in terms of input lag, in terms of, convenience, because battery life or stuff like that. I couldn't deal with that. And Logitech Superlight 2 has all of it. It has the convenience. The battery life is, God knows how long it lasts. I haven't been able to use it up and have it be an inconvenience for me. On the other hand, you can also use the mouse while it's charging, no problem. Yeah, you're gonna have to use it as a wired mouse while it's charging, but who cares, right? For like 30 minutes it's charged, you can play like chess or something, and you have a fully charged mouse, which is gonna last you, God knows, like a week or so. Which is one other thing that I love about it. It says it has around, I think, 70-something hours of battery life. Not true. It has that under some settings. If you want to beef the settings up, it's a little bit less. Under my settings, which is around 2000 Hertz, I have about 52 to 54 hours of battery life. However, it's 52 to 54 hours of battery life of active use and clicking. If you don't click with the mouse and you don't move it for a few seconds, it will start conserving batteries. It'll turn back on the moment you click, completely seamlessly. And you will not lose anything. You won't feel it turn on or off, but it will conserve your battery life. Which is freaking amazing, right? Really, really impressive. And because of all of that, I'm able to use it for more than a week, like a week and a half, depending on how much I play with it, without charging it. And occasionally I'll just charge it out of habit, It's like, oh, man, it's been days and days since I've charged this thing. Maybe I should plug it back in. I'll check the battery life, and it's like 30%, 40%. Not like days and days left in it. It's awesome. And I've also seen that it's not the most difficult thing for some DIY repairs. So, say the battery dies, or you have problems with the lithium-ion battery, or the scroll wheel or something. You can take it apart, and there's actually parts available for it if you look, carefully enough around the internet, which is pretty awesome. So, in that sense, it seems like a worthwhile investment, yeah, but at the same time, it is pretty expensive, and I kind of feel like it's almost not worth it in some other sense. However, be that as it may, it's an amazing piece of kit, and just appreciate it for what it is, more so than useful as me personally. I do play some Counter-Strike, but this hasn't changed my life and given me, like, I don't know, 5,000 ELO points, or, changed my KD by 3 points or whatever. No such nonsense, but it is pretty impressive. And, yeah, I've, proverbially speaking, ditched the wire, and I consider me converted. Wireless mice are the future. It's a bit of a pricey future, and still, I think, there's issues with them, but consider me converted. Not having to lug a wire around, not having to worry about whether it's going to get caught onto something or not when setting up your desk and everything. It's big. And, yeah, that's about it. So, 30 minutes of me rambling, and honestly, I'm proud of myself that I did it, because it's not easy with the spine problem, right? Like, I can feel it about every 30-40 seconds. down my neck, breathing down my neck, if you will. But I'm sort of soldiering on through the video because I you guys at least. Yeah, that's about it. That's all I had to say. If you have any questions about me, the channel, the series, the gear that I'm using, like the case or the graphics card or anything, feel free to ask me down in the comments below, and I will respond to the best of my abilities. Until then, I was a Juggernaut. Have fun. Take care. Stay healthy, because it's really, really important. Take care of your health. I'll see you all next time. Until then, bye-bye.